The military profession is terrifying by nature. Troops fight wars, and that's bound to have created a few vengeful spirits over the last few centuries. That element has given rise to some of the best ghost stories and urban legends out there. Here are a few of the most enduring classics from around the world. Number 10. The Alamo in Texas. The Battle of the Alamo in 1836 was the culmination of the Texan struggle for independence. The site in San Antonio is now essentially a cemetery for the nearly 200 Texan defenders and roughly 600 Mexican soldiers who were killed in the fight. Their remains were dismembered, burned, and dumped in the San Antonio River, and tales of paranormal activity surfaced just a few days later. The first account of ghosts at the Alamo came when Mexican General Juan José Andrade, who made camp several miles away, sent a colonel with a contingent of men to burn the Alamo soldiers' bodies to prevent the spread of disease. The men instead came back, having forsaken the mission because 6 Diablos, or devils, were guarding the front of the old Alamo mission. And over the last 80 years, visitors to the site have reported seeing small boys tagging along in groups before disappearing, hearing the clatter of horse hooves on the pavement, and spotting an eerie man and a small boy jumping from the roof of the Alamo mission. Number 9. The Haunted House at KADENA Air Base in Japan. Building 2283 on KADENA is a single-family home for officers that currently sits vacant. Not because there aren't enough O5s at KADENA, but, legend has it, because a spectral samurai warrior occasionally rides through its halls. Other sightings at 2283 have included a woman washing her hair in the sink, a curtain opening in front of a tour group, a phone ringing, despite there not being a phone line connected to the house, and lights and faucets turning on by themselves. Residents of the house have reported bloodstains on the carpet and curtains, as well as an unearthly chill in the room where a real teenage girl was stabbed to death by her stepfather. The house itself rests across the street from an Okinawan samurai warrior's tomb. Coincidence? You be the judge. Number 8. BITBURG Middle High School in Germany. The BITBURG school was run by the Department of Defense for dependents of American military service members. BITBURG was constructed in BITBURG Air Base housing in 1956, supposedly on the site of a Nazi air base. It's also consistently rated as one of the most haunted places in Germany, sharing that list with a pagan ritual altar and the Dachau concentration camp. As if it weren't enough to be full of ghosts, there are also Nazi ghosts, which is way more frightening. Lights constantly flash on and off, furniture moves in front of doors so they can't be entered from the outside, and during the night, voices can be heard screaming at the top of their lungs throughout the building. Apropos of nothing, it closed in 2017. Number 7. The World War II Ghost Blimp in San Francisco. On August 16, 1942, the U.S. naval blimp L-8 took off from Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay with a crew of 2. Their mission was to conduct an anti-submarine patrol of the coast. The blimp came back, but the crew disappeared. Their last transmission reported an oil slick in the water. Witnesses at sea testified that they saw the airship circle the oil slick, but they failed to drop depth charges to burn up the oil. The crew of the fishing trawler Daisy Gray reported seeing 2 men in the gondola as L-8 circled the area at 200 to 300 feet, then dipped down to 30 feet, then rose again and headed back to San Francisco. L-8 drifted back to the coast and crashed with the crew's parachutes, life belts, and life raft all intact. Other than the damage from the crash, the ship was in perfect order, but the crew were never seen again. Number 6. March Air Reserve Base in California. What is today a dental practice at March Air Reserve Base once housed a children's tuberculosis clinic, and in the basement below was a morgue. Some of the staff reported seeing apparitions of small children playing in the building at night or hiding objects. One ghost, however, is less than playful. A teenage girl has reportedly been seen walking around the hospital, her face sliced open, talking to herself and searching for the person who cut her. In 2016, an officially sanctioned paranormal team explored Marchfield and reported that a shadow figure blocked their exit in one room. Their audio equipment picked up voices the team couldn't hear in person. The team asked where the light was, and a voice on the recorder answered, quote, "It's over here." Finally, when the team asked how many spirits were there in the room with them, a man's voice on the recording answered 6. But then, a higher voice corrected him to say 7. Number 5. The USS Hornet's 50-member ghost crew. The USS Hornet is an aircraft carrier built during the Second World War. It is also the most haunted ship in the United States Navy. In 27 years, the ship lost 300 of her men to accidents and suicides. Tourists and sailors alike report strange voices and apparitions of sailors in outdated uniforms, roaming the halls of the ship. Radios and other equipment on the vessel are said to turn on and off on their own. One coastie reported getting lost in an unknown passageway and encountering the specter of a sailor in his dress white uniform. A retired sailor who served as a dockmaster for the Hornet shared his story of a ghost in dungarees trying to solve the same task he was solving while on duty. Non-believers and truth-seekers alike can spend the night on the USS Hornet, whose haunted halls are moored in Alameda, California. Number 4. The ghostly gate guards at KADENA Air Force Base, Japan. The old Gate 3 at KADENA was said to be frequented by a World War II-era soldier covered in blood, asking for a light for his cigarette. The stories of his hauntings were so chilling that Marines refused to stand guard at the gate. One MP reportedly shot himself with a negligent discharge when surprised by a visit from the ghost. Others swear they caught a glimpse of the spirit in the gate's security footage. In the 1990s, it was said that the ghosts of hundreds of Japanese soldiers were attracted to the area. They approached so many times that their activity was recorded in the 2000 book, Ghosts of Okinawa. The gate has since been closed. Number 3. The cursed Russian graveyard in Helmand Province. Marines stationed at Observation Point Rock in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, reported a number of frightening incidents not far from a mass grave. One corporal called for backup when he heard a voice speaking to him in Russian during the night. The Marines found graves at the site, a place in Helmand considered cursed by the locals because of the unending amount of human bones that are constantly discovered there. The rock, as it came to be known, was the reported site of Afghan mujahideen executing Russian soldiers during Russia's occupation of the region. Because of the bones and the strange sightings, it soon became known as the Haunted OP. But it wasn't just the Marines seeing or hearing things. The UK's Welsh Guards who came to the OP before the Marines reported strange noises and unexplainable lights in their own night vision. Even the locals have forsworn the haunted earth. Number 2. Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Widely considered the most paranormally active site in the United States Army, Fort Leavenworth has over 36 haunted buildings. One guardhouse, Tower 8 of the old disciplinary barracks that were torn down in 2004, still stands. It's said that a soldier who committed suicide with a service shotgun inside Tower 8 will sometimes call the guard control room. After a prisoner uprising during World War II, guards executed 14 prisoners, one on the hour every hour, but they ran out of room on the gallows. They were forced to use the elevator shaft in the administration building as an extension. Now, soldiers report hearing screams from the elevator when no one else is around. But perhaps the most haunted area is called the Rookery. The building was once the base commander's quarters, but it was turned into family housing, and people still live there. The Rookery is said to house a number of ghosts. The lady in white was supposedly tortured and killed by local tribes while the soldiers were off post. She screams and chases people she sees in the night. Number 1. The Ghost Plane of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. A year and a day after the attack on Pearl Harbor, U.S. radar detected an approaching plane. American pilots intercepted the United States P-40, complete with markings, bullet holes, and sheared landing gear. Its pilot was slumped over and covered in blood, but smiling and waving. Suddenly, he disappeared, and the plane plummeted to Earth. The wreckage was found, but the pilot's remains were nowhere to be seen. There was a diary at the crash site, however, which suggests the plane was stationed on the island of Mindanao. Rather than providing answers, the ledger only raised more questions. Where had the shredded plane been for the past year? How did it take off without landing gear? and what became of the pilot's body. What are the creepiest stories you've come across? Or did you experience any hauntings of your own? Leave us a comment and let us know. Oh, and good luck sleeping tonight.